Hi folks, and welcome back to my reviews of the new Jedi Order. Today we're going to talk about the trilogy written by Sean Williams and Shane Dix called Force Heretic. Now the three books in this trilogy were Remnant, Refugee, and Reunion, because I guess they couldn't think of anything besides words that began with the letters R and E. Now this adventure picks up from the last novel, where now that Luke knows about the planet Zamona Sakat and that it exists, he sends out Jedi all across the galaxy to search for this lost planet. This planet can move around on its own, so it's going to be kind of hard to find it, like a needle in a haystack, and they're going to need a lot of help. So Luke and Jason actually go to the Chiss to see if they will help them kind of locate the planet. They kind of feel like the Chiss have the inside scoop and they know where this planet is residing right now. Unfortunately, the Chiss do not want to help them at all. Now, Baron Fell is with the Chiss, and he feels for Luke and Jason, and eventually the Chiss will begrudgingly give them access to some of their maps to kind of pinpoint the exact location of where Zamona Sakat may be. Meanwhile, in the galaxy, there is a lot going on right now. The Yavithian Empire from the Black Fleet Crisis has totally been annihilated by the Vong. You see, Nominar has been around for a while, and he knows that the Yavithian, who tried to, conquer Coruscant way back then, is still a threat in the core of the galaxy. And since they control Coruscant, they do not want to be challenged by them. So they go ahead and lead a strike against them and really just kill, it's pure genocide, kill everyone on the planet. So another tie-in to the Black Fleet Crisis, where they go, those guys aren't coming back. The Vong have just annihilated that entire race. Really big stuff there. Now that's not all that's been going on in the galaxy. I need to back up a little bit, and before Luke joins the quest to find Zamona Sakat, he actually assists the Empire in defending the Empire against the Vong. And afterwards, the Empire agrees to join the Galactic Alliance. So here we finally have one unity, something that the New Republic never accomplished, right? The New Republic and the Empire were always separate. And even though they'd made peace, they weren't going to come under the same umbrella. But now they're the Galactic Alliance, and now maybe they can come to agreement. And of course, Luke convinces them of that after that battle. Moving on, we go to what Han and Leia are up to. Well, they go to Bakura, because Bakura is in trouble again. It looks like the Sisaruk are going to attack Bakura again. Oh my goodness, it's been years since the last attack, and the Sisaruk have now reformatted and gathered together, and they want to attack Bakura again. They can't get that out of their mind. Now, unbeknownst to anyone, the Prime Minister of Bakura turns out to be a replica droid who was created by the Sisaruk. They took that they take your life essence, and they put it into, machines and power their ships and stuff. Well, they put it into a replica droid so that he could live forever, in fact. But the whole thing is, he is using Han and Leia as patsies against the people of Bakura so that the Sisaruk can take over. Now, the Bakurans already don't like the New Republic. If you recall, there was that adventure in the Corellian trilogy where Gabrielle Captason went with Luke. Luke promised the daughter that she'd be kept safe. Well, unfortunately, Gabrielle died in that series, which was really big at the time because Bantam wasn't about killing previous characters. So I thought it was a really big shot. And I always thought it was a missed opportunity that they never went back to Bakura, especially Luke, to feel those ramifications that he broke his promise as a Jedi. Now, here it's sadly without Luke. I guess when Han and Leia said, "Hey, Luke, we're going to Bakura. Do you want to help us?" He went, "You know what? I'm going to try to find that impossible planet right now. I think that's what I'm going to go do." So Han and Leia have to take the brunt of Luke's bad decisions, and they're facing that while they're on the planet. Now, eventually the Sisaruk do try to invade and take Bakura again, but again, they fail. Now, meanwhile, Luke and Jason do find the planet Zamona Sakat. Yes, they finally pinpoint it, and they talk to it. Yes, they talk to the living planet. The living planet takes the form of a young Anakin Skywalker from Rogue Planet. It basically recounts the tale of what happened in Rogue Planet, so that if you didn't read Rogue Planet, you don't have to. This story kind of tells you what basically happened, what went on, and it gives them a little bit more insight into the Vong who once lived on the planet. Now, we're going to get the whole story later on, but right now that's all we know. So Luke and Jason originally, they get the planet to agree to join them in the fight against the Vong and maybe put an end to this war once and for all. So this is a big win. We're getting a lot of wins now, and it looks like the Galactic Alliance is finally coming back against the Vong. Now, originally in the story, Sean Williams and Shane Dix had an idea where a younger living planet, was going to convince the older living planet, Zamona Sakat, to join the war. That's too weird. I mean, already we have one living planet, so I guess that's okay. But to have two, that's kind of weird. Now, one cool thing about Zamona Sakat, we have seen living planets before. If you remember in Galaxy of Fear, there's a planet that eats people on its planet. And I'm kind of wondering, is that also from this other galaxy that Zamona Sakat is from? Because Zamona Sakat's from the other galaxy with the Vong. And I mean, it makes sense. We have a few living planets. So I think it would have been a nice tie-in to include John Whitman's Galaxy of Fear and that, you know, man-eating planet. Maybe that was Zamona Sakat a long time ago. I don't know. But I think it would have been neat because we do see other living planets in the galaxy. However, to have a young planet talk to an old planet and have two planets talking and maybe Luke and Jason sitting in space going, I don't know, that would have been just a little too weird. I'm glad they never went that far with it. Now I want to mention two other things here in this story. We also have a side story with Tahiri. She's kind of dealing with what the Vong have changed her, what they've transformed her into. And of course she's still working through Anakin's death and trying to come at peace with who she is. Now, as you know, Tahiri's going to be messed up for quite some time in the expanded universe, but this is her trying to find some peace of mind, trying to bring things back together before the entire New Jedi Order wraps up, which I can appreciate. And the second thing happens at the end of the book. At the end of the book, or toward the end of the book, we find out the Sisaruk were really just Vong in disguise, or a lot of them were. See, they've already taken over the Sisaruk, and they basically annihilated the entire species, except for some. I mean, there are some that are still around, but it looks like the Vong are going to annihilate that threat too. So this is, to me, it was kind of crazy. This is something you didn't have to do, but they said, you know what, let's go back to some of these other invaders, and let's let you know that the Vong have taken care of them too. I love that. I love that about this story. In fact, if you think about it, there are a lot of deaths when you think about all the genocide of certain races that have been eliminated from the expanded universe. There's two of them right there, because at the end I think one of the Sisaruk touches his face and you find out it's just a Vong in disguise. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it was a really big reveal for me. And another moment for me, like a movie moment, kind of like Borsfila and the thermal detonator, that was another movie moment for me when I saw this. Overall, Force Heretic, really awesome series, well worth your time reading. All right folks, that is it for now, but I'll see you again with another review.